Hello and welcome to tutorial number 34 in the Microsoft Visual Basic .NET Programming Tutorials, and in this tutorial we're going to cover how you would create an auto typer. And in a previous tutorial we've been over how to use a timer and all that stuff, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to use a timer to create an auto typer. So go ahead and create a new project, and we're going to call it auto typer and timer. Okay. And first of all, we're just going to design our auto typer. So the first thing we'll need is a text box. And this is going to be the text that the user inputs. And then we're going to need two buttons. The first one, we're going to change the text to start. And the second button, we're going to change the text to stop. Okay, so just a little overview of the visual part here. This is going to be the text where the user inputs and what is spammed. This is going to start the auto typing, and this is going to stop. So now that we have all the visual tools added, we can add our timer, which we've been over in another tutorial, and you should know what this does. So go ahead and add a timer, and the code inside this timer is what is going to be executed. And inside this timer we're going to tell the timer to output or execute auto typing the code inside this text box. So first of all, we're going to change the interval. Just click on the timer, and where it says interval 100, change that to 1000, and make sure it is not enabled. Enabled equals false. Make sure that's for default. So now that we have all this done, we can double click the timer for the timer one dot tick. So inside here, first of all, we want to auto type the text inside text box 1, and we can simply do this by typing send keys.send and in brackets textbox1.text, and that's just going to type the text inside text box 1. And then after this, we say we're on an online game, you want to keep typing something in game, and it wouldn't be much use just typing it and then not outputting it. So the next line we're going to say send keys.send and in brackets and quotations, and then inside the quotations you're going to put open curly bracket, enter, and end curly bracket, and that's just going to use the button enter. So it's going to type this text inside text box 1, and then it's going to output the text. So now that we have the code inside the timer sorted out, we need to input the code for start and stop. So double click start, and it's really simple. Just type timer1.start, and this will just start outputting the code in timer 1 every 1 second. And then to stop it, we'll just double click stop and say timer1.stop. Okay, so we have all our code sorted out. Let's just go over it in case you're not sure. For the timer, every 1 second we're going to send keys.send textbox1.text, and then we're going to send keys.send the enter button. And by clicking button 1 we will start this timer, and by clicking button 2 we will stop it. So now we can just debug it, and I'm going to test this out in Notepad. So go ahead and open Notepad, and for the text I'm just going to type I am using a VB.NET auto typer, and hit start, and there we go. You'll see that it types the line and then uses enter. Whoops, shouldn't have clicked there. So then stop it after you've tried it out, and that is how to create an auto typer. But let's say that the user doesn't want to output it every 1 second, and the user wants to output it every 2 seconds. Well, since we're using milliseconds here, it's going to be 1000 times however many seconds you want it to be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create an option where the user can select how many seconds he wants to output this code. So we'll just highlight all of this and move it down, and then we'll add a label, and the first label is going to say send text every, and then we'll add a text box, Let's make this a little small text box. And then after this we'll want another label, and we'll just say send text every blank seconds. So this is going to allow the users to select how many how often the text is going to be outputted. So now let's start the code. So you'll see that if you click on a timer, the interval is in milliseconds. So it's going to be 1,000 times how many seconds you want. So we're going to use that formula to calculate the interval by using this text box. So we're going to first of all just double click start and press the enter button so timer 1 starts moves down, and up here we're going to say timer1.interval equals textbox2.text, which is the text box we have up here, multiplied by 1,000. That's because if we say we want it to go every 5 seconds, if this was 5 and we tried to set the interval of the timer to 5, then it would output it like really fast. So we want this instead to be multiplied by 1,000, so it will be 5,000. So now that we have the time sorted out, we can go ahead and debug this. And again, I'll open Notepad, and in here, just first of all, we'll just type how many seconds. We want it to say every 5 seconds, and then the text is going to be I'm using an advanced timer. Hit start and it's going to wait 5 seconds, then output the code. So wait, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's the code again. And it's just going to do that every 5 seconds because that's what we specified it to. Now you can stop it and you can even change it to 1 second. Start, and it'll go every 1 second. So that's just basically how you create an advanced timer. An advanced auto typer with a timer. And thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this, then just leave a comment. If you have any suggestions or requests, leave a comment. And please rate the video and subscribe. Thanks.